If you're a Kanye West fan, you're not a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself. You will believe in yourself. I'm just the espresso. I'm just a shot in the morning to get you going, to make you believe that you can overcome that situation that you're dealing with all the time.
I believe that everybody should have the opportunity to share their views, however noble or odious.
There is nothing bigger or older than the universe. The questions I would like to talk about are: 1. Where did we come from? How did the universe come into being? Are we alone in the universe? Is there alien life out there?
God, who created this universe, if it was created by God, is quite clearly a maniac. Utter maniac. Totally selfish.
The people who are stuck in an image, the people who are stuck and afraid to be honest and dream a big dream. Dream big and dare to fail. I dare you to do that, because this is living proof that it is possible to make a dream come true.
So
Give direction to.
Sam, you're getting married,
Yeah,
and you're like 23.
that's right.
Is
Well,
that
I'll be 24 by the time I actually get married.
okay? And you
But I'm
get
23.
when you getting married?
4th of July next year, 2020.
Okay, nice summer wedding.
That's right.
So like, what are you not nervous? Because like I'm not ready to get married at my age.
Yeah, so I am nervous for the day, just because I'm not really one for like attention, and that day is everyone just going to be giving me attention all the time. Everyone's going to want to talk to
Or
me.
mainly your soon-to-be wife, I'd say.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam, how you doing? Congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And I have to walk around and speak to everyone. I'm a bit nervous about that. But I'm not actually nervous about being married, because everyone gets married, don't they, really?
Sure.
So it's just the next step in my life. Like, I already live with her.
Yeah.
So I'm not too fussed. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, sure. It's like, it's weird though, because our parents and that probably all got married when they were like 18, 19. Unless they've split up, which a lot of parents have, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's weird to think that we can't make that step. Like, it's a massive struggle for us to make any, like, even to move out. Like,
True.
I know you and Laura want to buy rather than rent, which makes complete financial sense. But like for me in India, like, we just had to move out.
Yeah.
Because like, she got a job here. So we rent, but like, people our age who are on their own earning more than enough money to live on their own. I just don't even know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And like, even probably have enough money to buy. They're still living in their parents' house. I'm like, dude, you could just like have your own place, do whatever you want, cook whatever food you want, do whatever you want to do,
True.
be as messy as you want. I don't know why you wouldn't make that step.
Yeah. I guess some people might have quite a nice home life. Maybe they enjoy it. Maybe their parents do stuff.
Like
for
living
them.
with their parents.
Yeah. So they just don't have the pressure. Like, I know people that earn big bucks and live at home just because, well, they don't have a missus to move out with, or maybe it's just. And I think it is quite expensive to buy a house. Like, whether you've got the money for the deposit,
it is,
and technically you could pay the monthly stuff. It's like all the extra stuff, council tax, bills, whatever.
I've said
adds
to
up.
Laura before that even if we won 10 grand on the lottery tomorrow, or enough money for a deposit on a house, I still wouldn't move out yet.
Really?
I'd still, I haven't been living, I was at university, I haven't been living with my parents for too long. I have a fairly good home life.
Yeah.
I'm excited to move out, and I want to move out. But yeah, there's a time and a place for everything, and I still feel like I've got a couple of years at home. And like you say, like even if you can afford the monthly mortgage repayments, like living in a house isn't cheap. If I bought a house now, I'd have no money left at the end of the month, every single month.
Exactly. And you were saying about how much it costs for all this furniture and stuff. Yeah. Like 100 quid just for a chair, and you need 4 of them. That's 400 quid just for chairs, and you need a table, sofa, TV,
probably
everything.
need twice your deposit to actually, probably move into a house.
Yeah.
Sofas, fridges.
That's fair, actually. I think like when you incorporate sofas, wardrobes, beds, and all that shit. Yeah. And it depends how big the house is as well, doesn't it? Like how much you got to fill out. So James, like obviously, I don't think you're saying to me like you're not looking to get married anytime soon. I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Mostly, obviously, I haven't been with Laura for too long. Another reason financially as well. I've just got a lot of other things that take priority over marriage. Doesn't mean I don't want to. Doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to it at all. It's just, just for me, it's not the next step in my life. There's a lot of things I want to do before that, and I know it's not a typical way, but I don't even mind having children before I get married.
Really?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because I would definitely get
Marriage
married
is not
before having
bigger
kids.
bigger thing for me.
Okay.
I probably would get married before I have children.
But you just saying it wouldn't be the end
You're
of
not
the
fussed about it?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not fussed.
Like if your girlfriend at the time got pregnant, you wouldn't suddenly get married just to get married before,
exactly that,
right?
yeah, no.
And like, okay, it's weird because like, does that mean in your head like marriage is a bigger commitment than having kids almost?
No, I don't think so. I think marriage is for the children, and obviously, everyone hopes they marry the bird they love.
Sure.
But
The bad.
marry
Marry the right bird.
The one, if you like. But,
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't mean you just live happily ever after. Marriages are difficult, and they take work and time. I'm sure all of us have seen that with our parents.
Yep.
But the children, I think, are the main thing. Once you've had children, your children need a stable home life.
Absolutely.
They need two parents to bring them up. So
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, oh man, what's the major problem then with this generation in terms of like the marriage thing? Like,
Not wanting to get married.
yeah, well, to be honest with you, like going out clubbing and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're meeting those people who are kind of our age, maybe even like 30 odd, and they're like acting like they're 17, 18.
Yeah.
It's a real worry for
Yeah,
me.
it's weird.
I think a lot of that comes down to religion.
Yeah,
marriage
good one.
is a religious thing.
Uh-huh.
Religion's not as popular anymore, so people aren't as bothered about it.
I think life's got
people
easier
at
as
the
well,
age.
right?
Oh,
So back in
easy.
our grandparents' generation, like you were 16 and you had to be a man. Like you had to go down the mines
to
or
earn the
something,
money.
or you had to earn money, or life was just harder back then, right? So they were used to doing things that they had to commit to, things that were like hard, right? Whereas these days, a lot of people have had easy lives and they don't really feel the need to be an adult until they're 25, 30. And then they think, well, I don't want to get married yet, I'm still a kid. When in reality, they're like, they're 25, that's probably time. Maybe
not a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a big worry for me, man. Like, I don't know how I assume it's just the parenting where you just like, look, get out. But like in the nice way, kind of like you need to flourish from the nest.
True,
you know?
that's
like,
another point.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and that kind of leads on to the whole like social media screen thing. Like, are we the best generation where we're going to be able to tell our kids like how to use social media and when to put your phone away? Because we do it ourselves, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I think so.
because like our parents aren't too familiar with it, right? But we
Yeah.
kind of grew up with it, so I'm hoping that we're going to be the best parents to be able to, like, manage our children in terms of, like, this is how you kind of, when you're at a family meal, you don't go on your phone. That's not the norm, like. But these are all new things we have to kind of learn, isn't it? Because that's not really been a problem before. Like, people usually use the newspaper comparison, when like people are commuting to work and they're on their phone, they're like, oh yeah, but it's just like, back in the old days where people used to read newspapers, like, yeah, but people didn't just whip out a fucking newspaper at a family meal just out of their pocket and just like start doing this, do you know what I mean?
True.
Like, it's a bit different in that respect.
True. It is crazy how much we rely on our phones.
Yeah, it is.
At work, there's a
crazy.
coffee machine, and I put my cup under the coffee machine, press the button to dispense my coffee, and straight away I just whip my phone out because
Shit.
I'm not
You're
just
like,
going to stand there and just look at the coffee machine for 30 seconds a
I
day.
don't know if there's a problem with that though. Like, phones make our lives easier. They
Yeah.
make our lives better. Like, you can say the same thing about anything. Like, when they invented the combustion engine, these cars are just taking over our lives. We rely on them
There's a
so
good
much.
point.
Like, well,
Yeah.
what's the problem with relying on a car? Like, it means I can get from one end of the country to the other in a day, as
true.
opposed to like a horse and cart. You know what I mean? Before they invented
true
the wheel,
that.
maybe they invented the wheel and thought everyone's relying on these wheels, man.
True.
I don't know if that's too good of a thing.
Nothing
but
wrong with
what's-
progress,
Right.
is there?
what's wrong with that?
Well, like, I guess it's because it's very much like invading the kind of social space in terms. I worry about it in terms of attention span. So like, Sam's at a coffee machine and like his mind immediately goes to needing attention rather than just taking in the environment around him. In a kind of Buddhist kind of way where like there's so much
that.
going on and your mind's so busy that you don't take 1 second to even stop for a second.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're 20 years down the line and you're having a fucking meltdown.
It's true, but that's like your phone is a tool, and that
Yeah,
depends on how you use it. If you're
Absolutely.
like sitting on social media all day, following all these accounts that talk about mental health and depression. And,
Yeah, true.
these will be your symptoms, and I think people start to feel that way a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
If you were just like, go and get yourself a cup of coffee and you get your phone out and you just flick on BBC News because you can't do it while you're at work, and you keep up to date with current affairs, or or you text your mum or your girlfriend or your dad or something, like what's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah, it does affect people badly in some ways, but going back to the cars analogy, same reason as some people drive erratically and crash and kill people.
Right.
Some people don't.
True.
Doesn't mean it's always about.
So it's not the tool inherently that's the issue. It's the content that's consumed on the tool itself.
Yeah,
which is
the way it's used. That's down to the individual person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
nothing to do with the phone.
Immediately then go to guns in America then.
Okay.
Because I agree. Right. Look, here's my argument. Right. I know that there are you can't buy a knife unless you're 18 or 25 in this country, but every kitchen in this country has a knife.
True.
That you could probably easily kill someone with, I assume. Well, you could kill someone, you could fucking pick up the chair and whack it around the back or something,
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is with the gun thing, it's very strange that we make this gap of I know it is an easy killing machine, especially for mass shootings, but why is that different from a knife?
Why is it different from a knife? Well, I was going to say that the reason that's different from the phone thing is because a gun's purpose is to cause harm. Do you know what I mean? Those days, its only intention. You can't do anything else with it.
Right.
Your phone, I think, is just a massive dictionary almost. Essentially, I mean, it's just a huge piece of information. Things can go wrong with that, but it doesn't mean it has to. And yes, I get what you're saying. It's no different to a knife, but it is.
And
I'd rather be stabbed than shot.
No, so
Would you?
uses. Would you? I wouldn't.
Well, I think you're probably more likely to survive from
a stab.
Yeah, from a stab. Yeah, perhaps not. But either way, I'd rather some guy run around on the street with a knife than running around on the street with 2 AK-47s.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Who are going to use them?
Both awful situations, but I know what you're saying.
True.
And people only need, people who say, I need a gun to protect myself, I've only got that because other people have got guns who want to hurt them.
Well, I think the argument is that, and in their constitution it says that they should be allowed to bear arms to defend themselves against government tyranny, right? So in a scenario if Nazi Germany happened in America instead, the population are already armed to fight against the people that are trying to oppress them.
It's
Fair enough.
for
I
me.
think that's rare.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 100%
imagine
rare.
if the British government did become tyrannous. Is that a word? I don't know.
Probably.
Overnight, or any other country apart from America. Does that mean they can just do it? Do you know what I mean? There wouldn't be some. Because look, okay, what I'm trying to say is the USA has the biggest army expenditure in terms of cost of any other country in the world.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that some civilians with guns is going to be able to fight one of the biggest armies in the world?
They could make a militia, I reckon, if they gang together and
The
made a little
civilians.
private army. Yeah. Obviously, one person isn't going to be able to take on the American government, but I think they could do a good job at. There's more civilians in America than there are military personnel, right? So by sheer numbers, if they all had one gun, they might be able to.
So, and the idea is just to defend it, just in case that happens.
Just in case. I think that's what they say, right? That's
that's usually what they say.
gun activists.
I get it, but I just don't think that's too valid of a point.
Because it won't happen, sort of thing.
Yeah, I just don't think it.
That's what the Jews
Yeah,
thought, though, isn't it? Not even a joke.
Yeah. But that was, them conditions were much more extreme, weren't they? As in, the rise of Germany, you're talking about very deep economic troubles.
True.
Following a world war. Which kind of puts me off a bit, especially when people make these... aren't you guys tired of hearing the Nazi comparison now at this point?
Comparison to what, sorry?
Well, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Just, anyone who speaks something slightly radical, Nazi, Hitler, it's just getting tiring at this point. I don't even know why them? Why not, Stalin or communism?
They were worse, right?
Yeah. In terms of numbers killed,
True.
I suppose. But I don't suppose they created concentration camps like the Germans did.
They had the gulags, didn't they?
Right.
More or less the same.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
I'm sick of it. And I think it takes the sting out of the Nazis. When you were growing up, you called someone a Nazi. That was a...
Big thing.
That was a big thing. But these days, someone get called a Nazi and it's just...
Whatever.
It's just whatever.
That... I raised that point at uni in a seminar because I was it was something this... The class was using this word that I considered pretty serious or whatever. And you know what? It might have been Nazi. And I was like, listen, man, if you keep calling people like Trump and George Bush a Nazi, I'm telling you that when an actual almost fascist-like dictator props up, no one's going to believe you because you keep crying wolf.
Yep.
And like this woman was saying, you know, like, I don't think that's true, you know, because like if they are what they are, like when we call them out, people kind of realise sort of thing. But like, it's just like the N-word apparently in terms of how they're using it to destigmatise it as well. As far as I'm aware in the rap culture, like they use it to adopt the word and then remove the stigma from it.
Gotcha.
I never actually believed that. Like I don't get the whole N-word thing in rap. I just like, would you say
why they say it?
Yeah. Like
I think it's because they. I don't know why they pick that word, but it's a word that enables them to kind of be part of a group.
Right.
Same as we all do, you know, we wear the clothes we wear because I want to be in that group of people. I don't want to be in that group of people and grow my hair like long and, you know, wear all black eyeliner. I want to do what I want to do. They want to say that because they want to kind of show that they belong to black culture. That's where they come from. And they're kind of proud of that. Why they pick that word, I don't really know, but there's other words I'm sure they use.
Yeah, do you not think there's a bit of...
My brothers.
My brother. Do you not think there's a bit of cross there, like, with, like... Because, obviously, okay, look, we're all friends.
Yeah.
We all like to kind of hang out and talk and stuff, like... Do you not think, like, I would like to dress how I want to dress, or at least how I think I want to dress? And, like, just for my friends to not go against that, basically. So, like, if I turn up this morning in, like, a long leather jacket with, like... looking like a proper rocker with, like, you know, 7-inch long hair, not 7-inch, 70-inch long hair. Like, would you two just be like, well, Nick, you look like a mess, like, you need to sort yourself out?
Probably.
So, like, is that a line too far for the friendship group? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I guess it does depend on what the people in your circle dress like.
Sure.
Right? So if I suddenly dyed my hair blue and was wearing vests or something crazy, I would fully expect everyone to say, "You look weird, Sam, why are you doing that?" Because it's not the norm, right? It's not what we do.
Yeah,
so
you come out of nowhere and did it. And I think if you were someone who did dress like that, like, you wouldn't want to hang around with me in the first place, because I'd typically listen to different music to you, do different things to you, say different words to you. I like different things.
Yeah. It goes to show how much we actually judge people from the outside, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
You kind of can, though. You kind of can.
Yeah. Most of the time.
It's a good rule of thumb, isn't it?
Definitely.
You know, if I see some guy, like you say, with long hair and a big black leather coat, like, I know what kind of music he listens to.
Yeah, true.
Ain't no
Usually.
Kanye West.
It's not Kanye West, it's true.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, yeah, like, for me, like, it gets a bit personal, because, like, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, like, the friendship thing comes first for me, so I'm like, alright, if James really wants to, like, be a skinhead, I'm not gonna argue about it with him every time I see him, type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. You can be friends with people and have different interests or different beliefs, political, like religious, whatever. But I feel like there's less chance of you becoming friends in the first place.
Right.
Which is why it's unlikely that tomorrow I'm going to decide I want to be a skinhead.
Yeah.
We'd never have to be in this situation, do you know what I mean, where you just walk in and I say, what the fuck are you wearing?
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen.
And, like, in terms of uni and stuff, or even maybe you guys when you were young, what do you guys think about, like, gravitating towards people that for some reason you'll get along with really well, but it almost feels natural when you... Like, I used to see people in lectures and just talk randomly to them, and they end up being, like, really cool. But, like, you could have spoke to anyone in that lecture and someone could have just binned you off in 2 words. So, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, that natural coincidence of kind of picking up body language and stuff. Like, do you think there's anything to that?
I think we naturally gravitate towards people that we think have the most in common with us.
Yeah. I think so,
right?
definitely.
And you can tell that by body language, as you say, the way people dress, the way people speak, things like that. And you can notice it from school. If you think back to the friendship groups that you had in your school, I don't know if it's a coincidence that the friendship groups all tended to have similar interests, right? You had the cool guys that all liked whatever, and then you had the geeks that all liked this, and then the people that were good at history or whatever, and they liked history. I don't know if they got together and then decided that they like history.
Right.
I think they all liked history, so then they got together, right?
That boils down to a survival thing, right? It's kind of like hardwired into us. Why would you want to be friends with someone who has a conflict of interest? You know, as a pack, if you're going out and you have a conflict of interest. That's not very good for survival. If you believe the same thing and have the same ideas, then it's going to work much better, isn't it?
And that's kind of now happening on a mass scale in terms of the left wing, right wing, right. In terms of like, I feel like they're going together to survive, but it's becoming a bit too much in terms of like anything against their tribe is an enemy rather than a discussion to be had, if you know what I'm saying.
Certainly. I think it definitely is more apparent now that we have social media and the internet, and you can see more people doing it. But I think you're right as well, that it always happened, right? Because there were protests and things the way we're having in London now, back in 100 years ago, right? Maybe it wasn't circulated to the north of Scotland quite as easy because you had to take papers all the way up there or whatever. Sure. And now you've got the internet, so people in the north of Scotland can see what's happening in London 30 seconds after it happened, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah, I think it has been probably going on for a lot longer than we think.
Yeah, you probably find the same thing in animals as well. Like if you look into nature, do you know what I mean? Like whales, for example. I'm pretty sure they have their own language in their packs in the wild.
Really?
The speech patterns.
And that differs from whale to whale group?
Differs from
Really?
to whale.
That's insane.
Imagine if we all had different languages each group, man. That'd be so cool.
Well, we kind of do on a big level, don't we?
Yeah.
Even
fair.
We're like, actual languages.
Do you know guys that get that when you go on holiday and like you just completely forget about that language barrier, man? And then because we're English, we just assume that everyone can speak English.
Yeah.
And it is kind of getting a bit convenient now.
I think the whole world should just say, fuck it, we'll just teach English. There's no point in everyone deciding to learn French. Do you mean most of the world like speaks English?
It's
if
the
they
best
don't,
language,
they learn it at school from a young age.
Yeah, sure.
So why not? A lot of TV's English and American.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm biased there, but
subtitles are alright then.
True.
But and then you come home and you're like, oh man, this is so good to
like
hear
a breath
English.
of fresh air, right? Yeah.
It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. It's like I just want to go back to the wedding thing, right? Because I do want to pick up on this, right? Like James, you've always spoke to Sam about it, and that like this comes back to the kind of friendship thing of like, you care for Sam. You want him to do the right thing. You're thinking like, whoa, this is like, it's quite quick, he's quite young. In your eyes, do you just have the conversation, make sure everything's okay, and then you just support him?
Of course, I'm sure. Like, when you've told me, I said to you, like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And, I had my worries because obviously you are the first one out of all of us, and he's like, although it's not that young, it's still it's younger than the rest of us. So of course, I made sure you were all right. But Sam reassured me he had no worries and wish the best for him.
I'm not worried, man. It's gonna be all right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a big step, but
it's a big step. But he's like, it's not really anything either, though. Is
it's
it?
not.
It's not. It's just a status.
Yeah.
And a day.
And a day. Yeah. That's literally it. It's like I don't plan to break up with Carly. I don't plan to go out with anyone else.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you not get married?
Sure.
Right.
For me, I guess firstly, you can't predict the future, right? Like maybe one day you wake up, you're like, I don't want to be Carly.
Yep.
Very unlikely, but it could happen. And then, you can wash that away because that could happen to any of us, right? But I think it is just the kind of not just commitment, because I think we're all committed, but the kind of committed for the rest of your life. That is another level for me, where I'm like, okay, you don't get to kiss any other girl for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And as selfish as that is, that does freak me out a little bit.
Does it?
Not that I would, because I'm with India, but it does freak me out because I get that kind of FOMO of but what if this amazing girl comes into my life and and I'm taken, married.
Yeah.
That's just never gonna.
It comes back to that classic thing of when you're a kid and your mum says, "Don't touch the iron. It's hot."
Sure.
But you're looking at the iron and thinking, I reckon I could touch that.
Yeah, sure.
And it just makes you want to do it. And then you touch it and it's, it hurts and you don't do it again, right? It's like, you get married and you think, someone says, you're married now, you can never do this again for the rest of your life. And then you can sometimes have that feeling of, maybe now I want to do it. But,
forbidden,
I think I'm mature enough to say, nah, the iron's hot, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Right. But okay. But if you naturally broke up, right, let's say you weren't married, but you just naturally broke up. You could then obviously have that availability. But for me, I take marriage quite seriously. So it's not I'll just get divorced if I'm unhappy.
No.
If you're married, you've got to commit. That's the whole point, right?
I agree.
And hence why I'm not too sure on a lot of parents splitting up. I know it's very difficult, especially if you do not get on every single day. Are both your parents together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that fairly rare for your friendship group, or is that right?
For our friendship group,
yeah,
actually,
for
it's
our
not,
friendship-
is it? I don't think it's not rare.
It's not rare. No.
Most
So
of them are
There's
together.
only one I can think of that's got separated parents. To be fair, my parents separated for a little while. They had a bit of an argument like a few years ago. And,
Did they?
My dad went to live with my nan's, not for very long, and maybe a month or so. But yeah, 50% of marriages end in divorce, man. I would like to see the trend between income and those marriages that end in
Me
divorce.
too.
In what do you mean? Sorry.
So whether they're just, or maybe not even income, but IQ and intelligence and
no.
marriages that end in divorce.
That's
I
interesting.
think
because
I can just imagine these these chavvy parents.
Yeah.
I know this is like such a stereotype, but I can just imagine some chavvy parents that have got 4 kids from 3 different dads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's never gone right. They weren't just a one-off. They just not very good at holding down a relationship.
Yeah.
Whether that's a actual intimate relationship or whether it's with friends or whatever.
So like,
But I don't know. That's
I reckon there'd be a
really
bell
guessing,
curve.
I don't know.
I reckon, like, if you looked at money, for example, or income, I think it would start low, right? So maybe the poorer people get divorced the most, and then it would hit a peak of like middle class people.
Right.
But I reckon when you get really rich, it starts to
people
drop off
divorce,
again.
is it
right?
so
I do
easy
think
to get
that, right.
divorced?
Yeah,
like,
well,
or-
because if
These people who live rich lifestyles don't typically live the lifestyle that's suitable for a healthy
Family man.
relationship.
Yeah.
Great
family
point.
life, right?
Yeah.
Also, with men, if they have a lot of money, you might get good-looking girls throwing themselves at you or something like that.
Which
and then
definitely happens.
definitely happens.
Let's not beat around the
100%.
bush there.
No, Dan Bilzerian, etc.
Yeah.
So that would be a reason. So I reckon it'd be a
Yeah.
bell curve.
Yeah. Interesting.
Inverted bell curve.
This working class sort of thing, I get a lot of slack for talking about. I don't mean work because we're all working class. What I mean is kind of the poor culture.
Yeah.
Right, and you know what I mean by this when like you drive around a dodgy area or council house area type thing. And I'm not saying that everyone who lives in the council house is like necessarily poor or a bad person, but I am saying that there is a massive culture of doing the very bare minimum to get by, doing what they can to get the most out of the system, and just taking on as little responsibility as possible. You know, the kind of parents who like letting their kids run wild in the supermarkets and stuff. And more of them being a knob about it is I just think, well, the kids, it's just a cycle now. It's just a complete circle, rinse and repeat for that generation.
Yeah, true.
And how the hell do you break out of that? Because it's not just income, it's area. It's like you'd have to go in, split them all up, and like put them in other areas and be like look at all your neighbours and kind of follow their maybe lead. And not in terms of because I think that moral's better, even though I do. Maybe just because it means like that they'll contribute more.
I think that depends on if your goal is to make no one stupid in the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
True. Essentially, like. But I think that's always been the case. My mum's godfather, he's quite an intelligent man, and he said to me once, he said, James, like, more people are stupid than not. Like,
Right.
I thought, what, like, no, you just, when you're young, you assume everyone's like you. That's, the world's kind of centered around you, so you think everyone's like you. And then as you grow up, you realise that actually, most people are fucking stupid, man. Well, they're less intelligent than me anyway. So that's how I feel.
I am the greatest.
But yeah, I think that's always been the case.
Yeah.
And I think as harsh as this sounds, we kind of need stupid people. We need
Right.
pawns, right?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? In the
We
army.
need
Well, you do,
pawns.
like,
someone's got to be.
I know what you're
if
saying.
everyone was intelligent and had a great education,
Who would be the-
like who's going to work on a factory floor?
Yeah.
Who's
True.
going to do that? We need
Yeah.
people
Be
to
the
do
bin
that
men.
shit. Do you know what I mean? Okay, you can
Absolutely.
outsource that, but like. You can't just do that tomorrow.
Absolutely.
That's just the way life is. There's a ladder for that reason. Otherwise, there'd be no ladder, and everyone would be on the same income if there weren't any stupid people. It just so happens that I think quite a large proportion of the population are stupid. Yeah.
So I've got 2 points I want to talk about here. So firstly, the bin men example I use all the time because I think that I don't think you have to be smart to have a very responsible and almost kind of proud job. Like for me, I'm not being funny. We need bin men.
Yep.
We need postmen
we do,
or
yeah.
people,
Very important.
whatever, women.
Post people.
Post people.
How dare you assume their gender?
We need people on the Amazon factory floor to get my package for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've done them jobs.
Yeah, and just because you're smart, also again doesn't make you invincible from doing the kind of basic jobs, right? Especially when you're young and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important. I don't think you can. I think you can have a pretty look. I build houses for people, and we need that, and that's great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you're, dumb or whatever, or not as smart.
If you don't want to do that, you don't have to though. Do you know what I mean? There are people who okay, it takes a lot of work. Like, you know, if you haven't got any qualifications, you've been a bricklayer for 15 years.
Sure.
Like, but there's no reason why you can't change that. Do you know what I mean, if you really start putting in a shift at work and trying to do extra bits, you might get to a supervisor. You know, then they promote you to the next
Still
manager.
progression, yeah.
You know, maybe you can't go, so you change. You know, you change companies. You sit there searching for hours after work for new jobs. Like, you know, it's a big effort, but it doesn't mean you. Stupid people always have to be stupid.
Absolutely.
They essentially choose to be stupid.
I think
They're too stupid to choose otherwise.
Well, that's my second point of like, we have to talk about what classes are stupid, right? Because for me, it kind of comes down to a kind of laziness and not like an inability to make an effort to learn to be better.
Yes.
That's kind of where I come from on the foundational level. What do you guys think about?
Yeah, I would agree, because people aren't just naturally smart, right? Some people may be predisposed to be able to hold more information in their brain or be able to understand complex math problems, whatever. But most of the time, you learn things by trying to learn it, right? By taking the time out to read about something, to look into something, work something out, right? And I think you're right about people that aren't smart probably don't want to be smart. They're not putting in the time to make themselves smart. They're not working on themselves. I think you've always got to work on yourself every day.
Improve.
Well,
every day.
Improve.
But I don't think you have to. It's like
no, it's not a law. No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like there's a cost involved with, not a monetary cost, but there's an opportunity cost of making yourself a better version of you, right?
Yes.
You know, you could come home, and I'd love to come home and just watch films all day, but I don't.
Would you though? Deep down, would you want to do that?
It would make me feel a bit bad, but I could, I still don't want to go to work every day. I still want to do less than what I want to do.
Sure.
Like my own head tells me not to, so I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'll come with my point now. I can't remember where I was going with it.
Sorry, man. Stupidity.
Yeah.
Making yourself smart.
Yeah. So there's a cost involved with making yourself smart. And some people don't feel like the trade-off of time now to the living a better life is necessarily worth it.
True.
Even like down to my parents, they've kind of drilled it into me from a young age. You need to improve and you need to keep learning. But even now, like I say to them, why don't you got this money in the bank? Why don't you invest in this? Like, why don't you put your money in these stocks and shares?
What, you say that to them?
Or my mum's like off at the minute. I said, why don't you just like start a little business, just doing something, like just do a little bit of part-time photography, only sell 50 quid a week, but she can't be bothered. I mean, she doesn't want to either. Yeah. She says she knows she can do it. She said, I don't want to be any better. Like, she has a nice house.
Right.
She has a nice family life. We've got a dog. Like, and she has everything she needs. She's comfortable. Other people do that at a lower level, don't they?
True.
They don't mind living in a council house.
True.
It's fine for them.
And that's what I mean by like people are happy to skim by and just kind of. I just don't know I don't know how you live like that. I don't know how you want to aspire to. Maybe not be greedy and have a mansion, but like just have that little bit more, like, because we've all got to strive for something every day, right?
Yeah.
We've all got to get up and be like, okay, like my motivation is I want to go on these holidays, or I want to go traveling, or I want to get a better house, or I want to supply better for my partner, or something like that. Like, you got to have something, like a goal.
I agree.
Rather than maybe just like the goal is to survive. Like, we're way past that. We're way past surviving.
Yeah.
And like you said yesterday, like we're even way past surviving to the point where it's like, what's the balance of work life that we actually want rather than we're told, True.
Yeah,
true.
It's a weird one, man.
People are different, right? Some people want more.
Yeah.
Some people don't mind staying where they are.
But I guess that's kind of good for us because that does help us shine out a bit.
Less competition, man.
Yeah. That's what it boils down to, I suppose, at the end of the day, innit?
Yeah.
Like competition.
Yeah.
Like workplace and that.
Yeah.
And in terms of workplace, guys, like, was there any big dreams you guys had that you wanted to do, or still want to do, I should say?
Still want to make a lot of money.
Yeah, be rich.
Is that a real aspiration for you guys?
Yeah.
And
90% of the reason I go to work is to make money.
Right. But is that...
That's what you go there for. That's what you get in return from it.
Yeah.
And is that just kind of what money gets you? That you enjoy, sort of thing, like experiences and stuff, and
well, it's like it boils down to that survival thing again, doesn't it? Like, hunting a fox isn't surviving anymore. Like,
right.
Money is the survival.
True.
The more money you have, the easier it is to survive, essentially.
I think for me, it's competition. I love competition. Yeah, I love
in all aspects.
In all aspects of everything, right? Down to what kind of games you play. I know you play a lot of story games, right? And you like the story of a game. I don't play story games. I play Call of Duty and I play FIFA because I like to beat other people.
Yeah, sure.
I like to be better than other people, innit? And when you
That's
win,
why I
you get
stopped
that,
playing
come on.
COD, because I'm awful now.
Well, that's it, and that I think that drives me in the workplace as well, right? I go to work, I see a team, and I think, right, who's getting beat today then? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to perform better than this person and this person.
Sure.
And when the next position comes up, it's going to be me. I'm going to make sure that happens, right?
Wow.
And I think that's what drives me. Just because I like to win, I like to be better than other people.
Yeah.
No, I do agree with that. At work, in my head, it's probably bad, but I compare myself to others quite a lot.
Yeah.
I do a job and I have a little look at who did the last one, how long it took them,
Right.
any mistakes they made on it.
Yeah.
Try and do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that reason, when
Yeah.
a new job comes up and they're looking at who they want for it, it's gonna be me.
And for the work aspirations then, like, where does that go? Does it go to like owning your own company eventually, or does it just go to the head of the company you're at, or just hiring any other company sort of thing? Like, where does it go?
Personally, I'd look at it more short term. So I think a lot of people finish uni and they want to be a CEO of some crazy company, or they want to own this or do that. And I think that those people are looking too distant in the future. I think as long as you are getting or making a step in the right direction in the short term, it doesn't matter where you end up in 20 years, 30 years down the line, as long as you're going in the right direction now, right?
If you're improving, then
As long as you're improving, then the kind of path will lead you there naturally. I think that's what I worry about. I'm not too fussed about where I end up.
It's one step at a time, isn't
Yeah.
it? I don't make the, I didn't make the decision to apply for a new job, because I want to be the CEO of that company.
No.
It's because it's that's the next best step.
Exactly.
I don't know what the step is after that, but once I get there, I'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Oh, sure.
And
I
then the
agree.
next,
You look at what you got, you look at your surroundings and think, right, how can I use what I've got
Yeah.
to get to the next place?
Optimizing the decision in hand, isn't it? Rather than
100%.
kind of, dreaming. Almost.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's different for other people. Like, for example, India knew she wanted to be a speech and language therapist.
Yeah.
So she went to uni, did it, got a job in speech and language therapy. I've never really been like that. I've never really known what I wanted to do. So I've always just kind of made the best of the situation that I'm in, and then hopefully it just works out.
Yeah.
And it's doing all right
And
so far.
you two, did you drop out as well, James? No. So we can talk about this, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you dropped out of uni.
Indeed.
You both retook a year, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like we
Yeah.
can talk about the problems of uni forever, I think. But like, I think we can all agree we're in a fairly bad place. Like, you two perhaps more than me, but like, uni was not a great place
No.
in terms of mental health and perhaps like progression of personal life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you both seem to be on a pretty good track now, and
Yeah.
kind of like rose from them bad places.
That's it, rise from the ashes.
Yeah, man. In terms of like looking at your situation, being like, okay, what do I need to do? Like, slow steps, like, let's get a job and let's improve in the job and get a better job and all that kind of stuff. And like,
I think that was in me from a young age. I think. Like, I mean, our parents, except me, our parents have both brought us up to be that way. We went to university, had a bit of freedom, didn't have anyone on our backs to tell us to do anything. So, so we went the other way. I didn't have to. I did have to kind of drag myself out of the rut. But once I wasn't, physically at university and in that kind of environment, it wasn't too hard really. Like,
Yeah.
I've got to go to work from Monday to Friday, so I did.
I agree.
and that
My
helps
parents
a
are there on
lot.
my back. I can't go out just smoking and drinking every night because
Yeah.
they're there. It was hard for a little bit, but I feel much better about it now.
Yeah, I
And
feel
think
much
I knew
better
I was
about it.
always going to end up that way. I knew I wasn't going to finish university and carry on the way I was. I knew I
Yeah,
was going to pack it in
change.
all
Yeah.
along.
At university, you have a lot of freedom to do whatever you want, but I found that in my life now, where I don't have freedom and I do have to go to work 9 to 5, I'm much more happy and I'm much more
Yeah.
fulfilled, despite not having as much freedom and
Well, you
not being
might
able to do the
argue-
fun stuff that I used to be able to do.
You might argue that it's more freeing being kind of suppressed in terms of like feeling, like you've got something to get up in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
is it freedom if you're not motivated yourself and you're not happy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Nah.
is it freedom if you don't know what to do with yourself? And because like, I honestly do think like the more freedom you have, the more you're just gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Unless you have
Yeah.
that incredible willpower of just like getting up and sticking to that schedule with
Yeah.
no one else to tell you what
Yeah.
you need to do.
And
But look, go on.
I was going to say it's evident in rich and famous people, right?
Right.
The amount of like pop stars or whatever that go on crazy drug binges and end up dying from an overdose.
Oh, yeah.
Because what else they have to do every day, right? They get up and they think, well, I've got all this money,
Yeah.
I've got nothing to do, nowhere to be.
Right.
I'm just going to do drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
I don't need to get up in the morning.
Exactly. I think it's dangerous. It's really dangerous.
For sure. I don't know how, man, and like people don't talk enough about the bad side of being famous, especially when you start breaking down all of these constructs of, like, oh, I fancy Kate Beckinsale. It's like, you don't even know who she is.
Yeah.
You don't even know what she is.
Yeah.
She's just a kind of face in a body who plays other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like this infatuation with actors and stuff is really crazy to me, because we almost like they're almost like the pinnacle for our society at the moment. Like the pinnacle for our society is people playing other people, otherwise being fake.
Yeah,
that's very strange to me. I think we're also like, we haven't got many idols, man. Like in terms of like people like Churchill and stuff. Like that's why going through history is so great, because you can just kind of pick out all these people and be like Sam does, and just be like, I like that lesson, or like what he's saying, like oh, let's pick up on that and let's move forward with that. But like at the moment, I can't really think of too many people that like are really shining out to me, especially with all these talk shows and stuff where they're just kind of playing games and stuff, getting 30 million views on YouTube. And I'm like, I get the entertainment side of it and I appreciate and respect that. We all want to laugh a bit,
Yeah.
But like at what point do we kind of like need to sit down and be like, oh, but why are these things more important to people than the election, than Brexit? Like I don't. It's worrying, man.
Because they're stupid.
Because they're stupid.
Definitely one reason.
I think it is one reason. Yeah.
Also, I think that life is too good at the moment.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no need to pay attention to the election because life's already too good.
Yeah, it's like whatever happens with Brexit, chances are it's going to be fine, right? Nothing really is going to change.
Terrible.
Yeah. Things might change here and there. Cost of strawberries might go up or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think you're still going to have food. You can still be able to live in a house. Yeah. It's not the end of the world. And I think when people aren't really struggling, nobody feels the need to kind of rise up and be that person like Churchill.
When there's no real crisis.
Yeah. Like Churchill came out of the woodwork in the hardest time in Britain's history, right? And that's why
he shines.
He shines, Whereas we're not really in any hard times like that.
That's a great point, man. Like when you think about, like, I'm just very broad at the moment, generic, but like Gandhi, oppressed India, British Empire, that kind of stuff. Even Jesus, so I suppose he's helping the oppressed Jews and all the oppressed people. Yeah. So like without the oppression, do you even get that hero?
No, I don't think you do.
That's a fair point, man. I like that point. Yeah, it's worrying though, like this kind of, I don't know, man, this culture of celebrities. And like, okay, so like let's say like we all got famous tomorrow, whatever that means, right? And like I guess it just means, that's the thing though, like you can be famous but not even like the richest people in the world we can list. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like hidden dragons just on the sidelines, just planting all these little devices, because I guess they play a part in elections because of the money they have, like all these billionaires, if not trillionaires,
I'm sure
at this point.
Yeah, definitely,
and like,
that's a fact.
Yeah, and like they just hide, man, because I guess they're smart enough to not be famous, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're so preoccupied with, like, what Kim K's doing. We're like, it's like, but what are these other guys doing, man? Like, what are these billionaires doing? You know, like, what policies are they influencing? And, like, do you think it very much is still, like, a kind of, very much a hierarchy in terms of, like, just because we're so distracted now that these people, the top 1% and all that shindig, do you actually think they control quite a lot of what the stupid people do as a
100%, I believe they do.
Quite a lot, especially mainstream media, the news channels and TV, like terrestrial normal TV. Netflix, for example, they control that. Obviously, Netflix control their own content. But I think what's good about the world at the moment is things like YouTube and self-made podcasts like this. Cutting out the middle.
Cutting out the middleman. You don't need TV anymore. Like, I don't know about you, but I haven't watched TV in ages. Like, if I want to watch something, I watch Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's like a
BBC
story.
iPlayer.
Yeah. Like a series, like a program. I don't watch just trash TV.
Yeah.
About, I don't know, Homes Under the Hammer or whatever.
But I think that's great, right? Because like you've got the power now to curate exactly what we want when we want. There's like, we're cutting out the rubbish.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what I do with games now, is like I only really play games that I think I'm gonna love, because if like worst case I die tomorrow, like, and I didn't enjoy this game, I know it's so minor and you're probably not thinking about this, but I just think like, look, we're only here for a limited time, so if I'm gonna play a game, I'm gonna hopefully play a game that either I'll play FIFA, which I love playing every match, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying, or I'm going to play like God of War and love every single second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and with the TV and YouTube thing, I think it's great that I can just go on YouTube, go on these subscriptions, and just kind of like watch whatever you want to watch.
Yeah, it's really good.
And like, I love cutting out the news channels because I've never seen a bigger gap of understanding before in my entire life. Even from kind of these mainstream YouTube channels and stuff, like they just have no idea what people are thinking, man.
No.
Like the BBC, like at my old job, they used to put on BBC WM, which is West Midlands or whatever, and like every day they'd have callers come in and, you know, talk about Brexit or some other topic and stuff. And the host there, like, he's obviously a great radio presenter and he knows his stuff, but he's so obviously left-wing, it's unbelievable. And almost every caller's just calling in going like, you don't get it, man.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get the kind of Brexit mentality. Like, you know, like, he's saying like, yeah, but would people be that angry if Brexit wasn't delivered? It's like, yes! The majority voted for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, just because they're quiet now, like, I don't know, man, there's just a huge gap of understanding for me. Especially in terms of the content as well. Like, people, these mainstream media channels, they're producing content I just don't think people are interested in.
I agree.
And I think it's great that, like, it does seem to be a kind of renaissance in terms of content creation, of like doing podcasts and stuff, where people are almost, with enough skill, dedication and financial income, they're almost able to become that next big thing without too much. Like, I guess that is the next wave, right? Of just individual content creation.
I agree. The only concern that I have is whether the platforms that they're posting the content on
too controlling,
which we're seeing with YouTube and
Google
and things
so
like that.
Eventually, do they just become independent, like, from these corporate like policies? But then my problem is, whoever creates another YouTube, they're going to have their own agenda.
Exactly.
So I don't know how you get around that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you have a platform which is just completely open. But I can't imagine people being like, well, that platform's got, you know, racist podcasts and all this kind of stuff. Like, they'll probably get shut down, I guess, from...
Well, I guess peer-to-peer... so, do you know, with blockchain technology, like cryptocurrencies...
Right.
There isn't a central bank, right? The currency is owned by the people. So if you could somehow implement that technology to have a peer-to-peer content sharing network, there it's not managed by anyone. It's managed by the people that are uploading to it.
That might be an idea.
Then that's the only way I can think of where there isn't going to be like bias or oppression on what can get uploaded.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a firm believer that the internet should be free. It should be no man's land. But then it brings up questions of, do you let your kids on it?
Right. Well, that's up to the parents, surely, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just comes back down to the parents for me. Like, if you don't want them to go on an awful website, you know, or porn or whatever, you've got to have the knowledge and its settings to put that into place, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And back to the stupid people. Most people are stupid.
Facts, man.
So you guys like Drake?
I enjoy
right?
Drake.
I like Drake.
Let's talk about music for a bit, because, you know, we all like music here, I think. You know what I'm saying? Some people have better taste than others here, but it's cool. So...
Well, Nick likes ABBA religiously, so I think mine and James's opinion is better.
I mean, ABBA is amazing, so...
Our opinions aren't better, our opinions are correct.
Yes.
My opinion is fact.
Yeah.
So, like, what... In terms of music, right? I get that Drake is capturing a kind of... He's capturing a voice of, like, whatever. You guys, you listen to Drake and you feel something. And I get that, right? Especially from the beats and stuff, like Passion Fruit. It digs, man. I like the beat. But, like, do you ever have that outside moment of when you listen to, like, a new rapper or something where, like, you have that... You're a 60-year-old moment, you do, like, have that lyric or something where you just think, man, this is actually kind of awful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do kind of know what you mean by that. Yeah, I do know what you mean by that.
Like, when you listen to a song and, like, you have that moment, like, even with ABBA sometimes you're like, oh man, this, like, you know, from an outside perspective, I guess someone could come in and just go, this is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Absolutely.
But it's like, do you know what I mean? It's the same with anything. Like, even now there'll be bits of this podcast I'm sure you'll cut out because it's just shit. But like, we had to, do you know what I mean? We had to talk about it. Like, every bar Drake ever spits isn't going to be an absolute banger, and mate, you go, oh my god, that's genius. Like, it's just got to have some stuff to kind of fill in the gaps. And
true.
Yeah, I suppose the genius stuff will be the stuff that was remembered ultimately.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm sure. Jimi Hendrix played a bum note on stage at one point in his life. Doesn't mean he's trashed.
Right.
Doesn't mean that.
And like, how much do you worry about whatever your legacy means? I suppose we're a bit young to think about this, but like, because ultimately, if you get really deep into it, like, everything's going eventually. So like, does it matter at all? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like, do you like? All right, you want to provide for your grandkids, but like, how much do you care about that legacy, man?
I care about it quite a lot.
What is in like providing almost a family structure to last for generations?
Yes, I care.
But
about that.
how do you ensure that without directly raising like the grandkids almost?
Yeah, there's no way to ensure it.
Make loads of money.
Yeah, make loads of money, but also I think it goes back to just making the steps in the right direction. You don't have to worry about the end product all the time.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you're raising your kids to be how you think they should raise their kids, then you just have to trust that they'll make the right decisions when it comes to it, right? It's like step by step by step. It's not always about that end product. And I think, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. So it's like saying, I want to leave a legacy behind. It's all very well saying that, but how do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Right.
And then what are you going to do now that's going to like make that possible? It's not something I like consciously think about every day and think, should I have this tea or should I not have this tea? Is that going to affect my legacy? I mean, it's not you just, I need a cup of tea, so I'm going to have a cup of tea. It's thinking of the now, isn't it?
I don't know if the getting rich thing works though, right? Because like, I was having this conversation with this woman at work, and like, I kind of get the mentality of maybe it only lasts a couple of generations, because ultimately it's very difficult to teach these kids, who have grown up with everything, the work ethic required to get everything, if you know what I'm saying.
True.
So like, you work your ass off, right, and you get this lush house and you've got a perfect life almost, like, because this work ethic is down, it's down.
Yeah.
Like, how do you teach kids that when all they've had is like everything they've ever wanted? And I know it might come down to parenting,
it's still
and like,
possible, it's still possible.
it is possible.
Like, we have a friend who has quite a wealthy dad, and he's like one of the hardest working people I know.
Really?
He smashed us all at university. He's hard working, but if he ever needs anything, he's always had it. Not so much that he's spoiled, but perhaps that's what it is. If you're rich and you just spoil your kids from the day they're born, and then when they get to 18, expect them to go out and work really hard. Probably not going to happen. But
I agree.
like you say, if you day by day you make the decisions that hopefully will make your kids more hard working. And eventually the end product is you've got hard-working children.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
And the university problem then, which I talked about earlier, I think we should talk about it because it's getting a bit dire. We've got too many universities, right?
100%. Too many people going to university.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people that probably shouldn't go to university are going. For
yeah.
example, me, I shouldn't have gone to university. In hindsight, I could have been at least 2 years further in my career than I am now because I made the mistake of going to university.
Yeah, one thing often when you go into university, they talk to you a lot about university fees, and my school saying, it's not a debt you need to worry about, and it cost you 40 grand, but that's fine, you don't really have to pay it back, and that's all very well, and I agree with that. What they don't tell you is the opportunity cost. Those who didn't go to university have earned, say, 25k a year for 4 years more than me. They've earned £100,000 more than me.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, some of them have nothing to show for it, which
is their choice.
Which is it? That's their choice.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you about the opportunity cost, and that's probably the only thing I regret about going to university and sticking with it is I could have been 100k richer right now.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
I've learnt way more in the 2.5 years since I've been working after uni than I did at uni.
True, yeah. Not as much academic stuff, but actual, practical real life,
common life,
shit,
social.
It's kind of the stuff that's important, really. Although I do feel like, again, it's hard to say because maybe I would have been the same had I not gone to uni, but I do feel like university made me more intelligent.
In terms of academically, or?
Yeah, kind of academically, but just in the way that I think about things as well. Like now, you're obviously asking us these questions, and I'm able to kind of think about it with kind of logic and reason and weight to things, and then kind of give you an answer. Whereas I feel like before I went to university, I just didn't have a clue about anything.
Yeah.
Whether that's just my age, whether that was actually university, I don't know. But at university you mix with kind of fairly like-minded people from fairly similar backgrounds to yourself.
Yeah. No.
When you're surrounded by these kind of slightly more middle-class, intelligent people, you end up thinking that way, and
True.
For sure.
Although for me, I was way stupider at university than I was after university.
In terms of decisions?
In terms of thinking about things deeper than life, right? So do you know, we think about these deep questions about how this affects that and things like that. I didn't start thinking about that. Well, I didn't start thinking about that kind of stuff until after I left, and I started to read. I started to listen to podcasts. I started like listening to Jordan Peterson and Steven Pinker and people like that. Right? I didn't do that until afterwards, and I just didn't have a clue about anything when I was at university. I was just a stupid guy.
It's crazy, man, because like you say, the opportunity cost is huge. People who go to work straight after school, like they're laughing now probably, and like I don't think their life's been that much more awful just because they've had to work 9 to 5 every day, right? No, and like we said earlier, exactly, might have got more purpose anyway, right? In terms of the university thing, man, it's strange because I don't necessarily regret kind of learning the content and stuff, although I've got a big gripe with philosophy deconstructing everything and not constructing anything back. It's a huge problem. Like, can you imagine spending 3 years of your life critiquing almost every single lesson you've ever learned about the way you think, your morals and that kind of stuff, and they give you no opportunity whatsoever, really, unless you take your own initiative and your own essays, and like my dissertation, in which I tried to do on the meaning of life, to construct, like Jordan Peterson does, a way forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they wonder why like half the people on philosophy courses are depressed.
Yeah. It's because you've just ruined everything.
Exactly. You all you've done is question and critique without any construction.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're taking the house down, you're just not building another one back up.
Yeah.
You're just taking the house down. You're homeless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bad thing to do, and there's no real construction for it. And like, again, my third year of uni was very much just, and it's crazy because YouTube is. It's a miracle in this way, in terms of if you just use your own initiative and find the right thing. Luckily, like, you can find the way forward. As you know, I'm at university, like Jordan Peterson, finding the way forward and like being like, oh man, this is saving me right here.
Yeah.
And like, how can words do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy, man. I've never had words change my life so much.
Yeah.
Than like, and like, it's not even necessarily him. He's just translating from the psychological scripture. But again, I've never really rated psychology that much either, because like, there's some nice experiments and like, you know, some pretty revealing stuff, like the I think it's Maslow and stuff like that. But it's a big worry for me, man. Like, in the uni thing, there's way too many people going. There's way too many people not going like, what's wrong with working at 16? What's wrong with doing an apprenticeship?
Yeah.
Like, are you told throughout all of secondary education to go to uni because it looks good on the school?
True. And
like, that's the marketisation of education in it as well. That's a whole nother rigmarole.
The only thing I don't know is how, you know, obviously having a degree is better than not having a degree.
Do you think?
If like you had a twin brother called Sam Duffy, done everything exactly the same as you your whole life, but you had a degree and he didn't, you both went for the same job, they'd employ you. Do you know what I mean? If you were exactly the same person, then employ. I mean, what I'm trying to say is having one is better than not having one. So that might benefit me later on in life when I go for a job and they pick me over someone else that, you know, that hasn't got a degree, or perhaps, you know, they just don't employ anyone without a degree. But often you would never know that. I mean, if I got a job tomorrow, I wouldn't know they picked me because of my degree.
No.
I wouldn't know that. So it's hard to say whether it benefits you, how much it benefits you against how much it what's the word?
Hinders you.
Yes.
And like, I think the best thing to do about the university experience is just to take the lesson, right? And just kind of like, just take the kind of like, that's not really the lifestyle I want to do, and like just to learn from it. Because I think that's the best thing you can do in a bad situation, right? It's just take the lesson. And like, again, I don't necessarily regret it, you know. It's crazy because like at the time, man, like I do think like was I developed enough to make that sort of decision of going to uni? But at the time, I can assure you, it's the only thing like I wanted to do ever.
Yep.
Was to go to a good uni and study philosophy. But like, looking back now, you know, it's easy to look back and go like, should have done this, should have done that. But like, you've made the choice and you've got to live by it, you know, and just move forward with it.